and the vocals. I love the vocals. It was a desperate type of, in your face vocals.
Yeah.
And yet there was a little bit of sounded a little bit like Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys.
Yes, I noticed that. But guess what? They're an American band. You wouldn't have guessed.
Wow. No. I'm thinking this is definitely over in the UK. And where those folks in the comment thread after I dropped this gonna be like, yeah, the best music in England. We prove it.
Well, yeah, they're
which is true. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Into the Music, and my name is Greg. That guy over there, right there, the handsome little devil, that's Chris. Hey, Chris, say hi.
Hi.
Don't blush now.
I'm shy.
Hey, man, you know why we're here.
Yeah, okay. Got something for you. I got a song called The Rat, and it's by a band called the Walkmen, and it was requested to a Ko-fi site by Wonderdog. I'm sorry, Wonderboy 75. It was requested by Wonderboy 75.
Wonderboy is giving us some other stuff, I think. So
yes. I was wondering.
The cartoon, right?
I wonder if we got the name from the Kinks song, Wonderboy.
Right. I'm thinking about Sweet Polly P now. Well, Sweet Polly Purebred. Purebred.
Oh, for Underdog. Yeah.
Underdog, yeah.
That's probably what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think that's what you.
All apologies, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. So the song is called The Rat, and it's by the Walkmen.
All right. Never heard. I used to have a Walkman back in the 90s, so I used to walk around with them.
Yeah. Then there was the Discman.
Right? Yeah. From the Walkman to the Discman. Hey, Discman. Hey, man. Walkman, get the hell out of here. And then the CD, and now I'm here. I'm gonna shut up and just go react.
That's like a good plan.
Yeah.
Wow, I gotta bring that back. Talk about intense, man. Intense beginning, like a wall of sound just hitting you with that little brief build up, and then boom. His vocals sound a little bit like Alex Turner from Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, I don't know about the screaming part right there, but right before that was definitely picking that up. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's just paying attention. All right.
You've got a nerve to be asking our face.
Wow. I was noticing on my face, like I had like when usually most times when I have that, it's because it's what I'm hearing is incredible, uh, or intense, or both. Um, yeah, man, this is a good song, and just the intensity, the bass, except for that middle part, where he was singing about when I used to go out, I'd know everyone I saw. I think I kind of wrote that really quick. Um, that was really interesting, but that was like time to breathe. But everything leading up before and then after, just real, again, intense wall of sound. And the bass was just, I think the bass was really the hero with all that. I mean, everything else was great too, but the bass, I mean, he just didn't let up, blisters on his fingers from the Beatles. Yeah, cool. So I'm intrigued. Need to know more about the Walkman and what other songs they may have and stuff like that, and definitely find out more about the song, what the meaning is. I wrote down some lyrics, not sure. So let's talk with Chris and let's see what he says.
Hey, I'm back. All right,
Sure are, man.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. This song was freaking good. Freaking,
I knew it. When I
freaking good.
okay, so this is we didn't know this song before, right? We didn't even know the band, either one of us.
No.
Um, I'm sure you like it for many reasons, but when I first heard this, I thought Greg's gonna love this because you love that rhythm that's really fills the whole song, that just keeps going. And it's a certain sound, like it's not a clean sound necessarily. It's not super distorted. It's somewhere in the middle, slightly distorted. And I
That
know you just
describes you a
love
bit.
that stuff.
That describes you to a
Slightly
certain,
distorted.
yeah, maybe in a different way. You and I have talked about I'm not saying this is
Wait,
post-punk.
I thought you were talking about me personally.
No,
I mean, my musical taste. Okay.
your
Okay.
musical taste, because we've talked about, and I'm not saying this is post-punk. I don't even know what it is right now, but
All
we've
right.
talked about post-punk, right? And just where you were a fan of that, but you were a fan of the other stuff, like the Elvis Costello and the other stuff
The
that was
early, like,
along
kind of
that line.
first new wave stuff.
And it was more like, yeah, right. And then like the early 80s,
Right.
whatever, is when
Which
I started
wasn't
paying
that
attention.
sound, though.
Right.
Like, yeah.
But I think why I'm bringing that up now is that I do think there's a connection here. It sounds a lot. There's a synthesizer in here. It has a New Order sound to me. Okay. Um, it there's a rock element, or there's a heavy, really kind of ballsy, right out there in your face. I don't know how much that's New Order, but and it's not putting down New Order. I like them, but the synth sound, there was just a sound to that sounded a little bit like Joy Division, a little bit New Order. Um, uh, but I'm gonna pull it back. So I love the beginning. There was like the drum. Not gonna be able to try to replicate that, but the drum was really good to start it off. A brief build up, and the synth with the drum, synthesizer in the drum was really cool. It was kind of like you knew there was something, because the synthesizer was like really, that was the instrument that was like the forebearer, like something's coming, and then it just goes boom, the whole band kicks in. The bass was just so good. The bass was excellent. um and the vocals, I love the vocals. It was a desperate type of, in your face vocals.
Yeah.
Um, and yet there was a little bit of sounded a little bit like Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys.
Yes, I noticed that. But guess what? They're an American band. You wouldn't have guessed.
Wow.
I would.
No. I'm thinking
Yeah,
this is
they're.
definitely over in the UK. And where those folks in the comment thread after I dropped this gonna be like, yeah, the best music in England. We prove it.
Well, yeah, they're based.
Which is true.
Um, they're based in New York City and Philadelphia, so the Northeast Corridor, I guess. And they
Wow.
formed in 2000. I mean, I don't know where they are now. They formed in
Yeah.
2000 with 3 members, and they let's see.
They went over to England to record their album.
Yes, and they changed their stuff. They changed their accents. The years active was 2000 to 2000 through 2014.
Okay.
And you're gonna love this. This is by a contributor wrote into Genius.com, Genius Lyrics. The contributor said, here's your favorite word. What started with a frenetic drum pattern. You love it, right? That Matt Barrick, the drummer, came up with in a jam session, built up to one of the most acclaimed songs of the 21st century. Of course, we're only a fifth through it, so that's like when people say, "Oh, this is a trial of the century," but there's like 30 other trials of the century.
Well, this song came out in the early 2000s, right? So that would make sense that there was only a little bit of sampling.
Well, yeah, because it came out in 2000. Yeah. It was 1/25th of. Okay. But
it released January 12th, year 2000. Wait, so what year, you might have said this already, what year did it come out?
2004.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It was a kick-ass drum beat. It really was. The whole song.
It was a real driving tune.
Well, it drove, yeah, because as he's singing in the rhythm, right, there was like, he was hitting the cymbals. There was like, there was all these, there was a drum roll that just kept repeating over and over and over, but it was spaced out. But then all of a sudden, and then boom, boom, and as the vocals are going, and it just, there's a part I want to pull back because like when I get really excited about a song, I can be like all over the place. I can be frenetic too. The lyrics, again, the vocals were so good, and he's singing something like, "You've got some nerve calling my number. You've got some nerve asking for my name. We've been through this before. Can't you hear me calling out your name? Can't you hear me pounding on your door?" So I don't know if this is a there's something that just made me think, is it political? Is he like, this is the call out to the politicians or the government? But then it might just be in a personal relationship. I sort of sensed anger, resentment, like betrayal. It looks like betrayal. Yeah.
It looks like it's from somebody who's split up with somebody.
Okay.
And,
yeah.
Well, that contributor who mentioned the frenetic drum pattern described it as, and this makes sense to me. Describes it as it has a narrator who's feigning cold indifference towards an ex-lover before crumbling and begging for them to come back. Now, I don't know if you caught this, but there's a bridge in it the bridge part where the lyrics are, "When I used to go out, I would know everyone that I saw. Now I go out alone, if I go out at all." So it sounds kind of like, a little social isolation, which you might feel after you break up with somebody. So that's why, it could have meant what you're saying. I see the interpretation as far as like with the political stuff, kind of like the Moody Blues song. Why do we never get an answer when we're knocking at your door?
Yeah.
That song Question.
I wrote the politics
but because of what's in the bridge, though, it looks like it's a personal thing.
Well, that's the thing. I wrote down a politics thing. I mean, you have to take my word for it. Kind of like midway through, because then that middle part, that bridge part, that was beautiful. That to me was the icing on this big delicious cake. It was so it was so different than the rest of the song, which I'm very impressed of how they came up with that part, because it was, and I love that when I used to go out, I know everyone I knew. When I da 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 da.
It was more
and it
more,
just looped around. Yeah, very melodic.
Right.
It was actually him, not high fever sort of pitch.
Yeah.
In,
so it wasn't the frenetic. It kind of took
it was
freneticism, and then it got back into it.
Yeah, it was actually more like
I like when that happens.
A chance.
You really have that change in mood.
Yeah, like there's a lot of anger, resentment, upsetment, right? But then
Right.
there's that part where the guy is in this case is reflecting, and he is just there's some sadness there, and there's almost
Sure.
there's some sadness and reflecting back, and just almost acceptance of like this is what it is, So if this is about someone that he used to go out with, whatever, and now that person's like trying to get him back and pounding on his door and calling out his name, it sounds like he's like, look, man, that ship sailed already. I'm done. We're done. I wonder if that's kind of
No, he
what's.
was calling out their
Oh,
name.
he's the one. So that.
No, he was. Yeah. He's saying, "Can't you hear me? I'm calling out your name.
Oh, can't you? Right. Can't you hear me
Pounding on
pounding?
your door."
Yeah, right.
There's that
I
conflict.
got mixed up. It's so phonetic.
Why you bothering me? But I still
Right.
want time. It's
Yeah.
kind of like it's a power play. If you break up with somebody and you're still attracted to them, you still
Yeah.
want what you had, or you want to recapture that. And you have that conflict there because you don't want to show your hand too much. And it's funny how we do these things. Like when you're in a relationship, you hit a point where you can admit your weaknesses and your faults and so on. But then
Yeah.
when you break up,
Yeah.
depending on what kind of breakup it is, of course, you kind of you don't want to show your hand with that. Oh, I'm missing you so much. So he's kind of like, acting indifferent. Like, why are you bothering me, man? We're done. And but meanwhile, he's like kind of like desperate to have
Yeah.
that person back. So I
Now
could
that
definitely
gives.
see that contradiction there in our
Yeah.
psyche.
But now that where I got lost, I got caught up in the whole. Yeah, right. It's actually him, and now it makes sense again with that bridge part, like the sadness thing that I detected.
Yeah, kind of like having a little pity for yourself because you're by yourself now.
Yeah. You know what's so brilliant about that part too, is that it allowed a chance to almost like catch up, breathe a bit. The song was so forceful,
Mhm.
and just to have that part, and it works. I mean, you could throw something in there, and it just didn't work. I knew what you're trying to do. It didn't fit with the whole song. It just
It's
it's kind
like
of
if
when
you're
you're done, like
like you're in
that's
a
it.
run.
That's
If
perfect.
you're running, a race, and but you got to take a break. It's like on a
Right.
marathon or something, or
And
half
then
marathon.
you even come back stronger, right? Maybe
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah.
yeah. This was the Walkman, the Rat.
I don't know
One
why it's
to
called the rat, though. I have no idea where that came from. Would have come from.
see. That's why I thought it was politics in the beginning, because like the rats, the
Yeah,
rat, and you're.
yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah, unless he's kind of call himself a rat. No, I don't know, right? But Wonder Boy 75, man, this is good. This is good.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm definitely interested in some of the comments that are gonna come back
Yeah, I
and
want to hear other stuff they've
the
done too.
recommendations, and
Yeah.
we'll
So,
give us some breadcrumbs so we can kind of look to see what
yeah.
else is next. Yeah,
You
cool.
ready for me to take us out?
Take us out, man.
All right. If you like this, hit the like button and request something on the Ko-fi site, and you're guaranteed to have us react and review it. And we'll catch you next time on Into the Music.